The Yin-Yang Master's Journey to Another World. Author, Zhen Shao. Chapter 1001. Prologue. In the era of Xuanwu, shadows of evil crisscrossed, and spirits of resentment intertwined. Demons and monsters did not stay in the distant forests or deep mountains, but instead, they breathed quietly and lived with humans in the capital city, even under the same roof. Xuanwu capital was being eroded by these supernatural beings, becoming a nest for evil spirits and also a stage for the active Yin-Yang Masters. To eliminate the contradictions between heaven, earth, humans, and ghosts, the Yin-Yang Masters showed their prowess. They used all-encompassing divination and mysterious spells to exorcise evil spirits, slay demons, and destroy monsters, becoming a strong protector for everyone from the royal family and nobility to the common people. To survive in the treacherous court, they had to be well-versed in all elegant affairs, such as songs, Chinese poetry, pipa, flute, as well as incense and tea ceremonies, all of which they had to dabble in. In addition, they also had to have the ability to see through people's hearts and a professional ethics of not divulging secrets. Therefore, those who could become Yin-Yang Masters were all top talents of the time. Yin-Yang Xiuzhe, a Yin-Yang Master under the age of 18, with his extraordinary talent, not only mastered the runes, spells, divinations, and barriers left by his predecessors, but also carried on and developed them, becoming the youngest and most promising Yin-Yang Five Elements family head in history. However, on a night of lightning and thunder, Yin-Yang Xiuzhe disappeared strangely. Together with his disappearance was the courtyard where he lived alone, leaving behind only a bottomless hole at the scene. People are discussing this, all in a panic. Some say that Yin-Yang Xiuzhe was surrounded by a group of demons and finally died of exhaustion. Some say that heaven was jealous of Yin-Yang Xiuzhe's talent and brought down thunder to turn him into ashes. And others say that Yin-Yang Xiuzhe has realized the heavenly way and descended to immortality. These are just guesses, and as for where Yin-Yang Xiuzhe went and whether he is really no longer in this world, no one knows. Chapter 1002. Soul Reincarnation. Snow was falling heavily, and the cold wind was piercing to the bone. At the general's mansion in Tianbo City, it was bustling with activity at the moment. Servants were busy coming in and out, some fetching hot water, others looking for towels. In such cold weather, sweat was actually forming on everyone's foreheads. Outside the room, Dongfang Long was pacing back and forth with a furrowed brow, letting the cold snowflakes hit his body, but unable to dispel the restlessness and anxiety in his heart. Why hasn't there been any movement after so long? Nothing should have happened, right? Dongfang Long, the iron-faced general who faced death fearlessly on the battlefield, was now actually filled with uncontrollable unease, his heart pounding as if it might jump out of his chest at any moment. If it weren't for the last bit of reason in his mind telling him not to be impulsive, he really wanted to rush into the room to see how his wife was doing. This bitter weight was just too tormenting. Dongfang Long once again pulled over a maid who was rushing out of the room to fetch hot water and asked about the situation inside. "Master, it's almost time. Madam is about to give birth." The maid wiped the sweat from her forehead and said, "It's almost time. How many times have you said that? How long do I have to wait? How is Madam now?" Dongfang Long glared with a pair of eyes that seemed to want to devour people. Just then, the door opened again, and the midwife ran out with a smile on her face. "Congratulations, Master. Congratulations. It's a young master. Both mother and child are safe." Hearing this, Dongfang Long suddenly became as if he was an idiot, standing there motionless. "I have a son. I have a son." The same sentence kept repeating in his mind, and Dongfang Long, who was still like a wooden man, suddenly woke up from a big dream and laughed at the sky. "Ha ha, I, Dongfang Long, finally have a son today." No language can describe his excited mood at this moment. He is too happy. This country has always preferred boys to girls, and this concept is particularly evident in some large families. Although the Dongfang family is not listed in the whole Battle Continent, it is one of the top families in the whole Blue Universe. As the eldest son, Dongfang Long already had 4 children, but they were all daughters, which left him with a small regret. Although he has never complained about this, and there is no intention to continue the string to marry a second room, everyone can see how much he wants a son. And today, he finally fulfilled this wish. How can he not be extremely excited? Dongfang Shuze slowly opened his eyes and looked around at this strange and unfamiliar room. Where is this? Why am I here? For a while, the brain was still unable to adapt to this small body. When Dongfang Shuze realized that he was now a newborn baby, even he, who was knowledgeable and had a broad knowledge, was also shocked. How could this be? Why have I become a baby? Dongfang Shuze tried to recall, and isolated images finally formed a scene, and he remembered. He clearly remembered that on that moonlit night, he was performing a dangerous and bold summoning ceremony. The ancient beast of Hongwang was summoned. During the ceremony, the originally cloudless sky suddenly flashed with lightning and thunder. And Dongfang Shuze remembered a lightning like a dragon falling from the sky. The dazzling white light made the earth as bright as daylight, and at the moment of losing consciousness, he only heard a deafening loud noise. It failed. The summoning ceremony should have failed. Although Dongfang Shuze knew from the beginning that the chances of success were slim, he still felt a bit lost when he thought of the efforts he had made. As an outstanding Yin-Yang Master, Dongfang Shuze quickly let go of the fact that he had become a baby at this time, and even felt a bit lucky. He knew that his situation is called soul reincarnation, and the secular people call it reincarnation. Although he has lost his former skills and has become a completely powerless baby, what's the big deal? His memory is still there, the knowledge he once mastered is still in his mind, and the cultivation method of yin-yang and 5 elements is still clearly in his head. As long as there is life, everything can start anew. It is a great celebration that he can keep his soul alive in the Hongwang ancient beast great summoning god. Look, the young master has opened his eyes. What a beautiful pair of big eyes. Beside the bed, a slightly plump middle-aged woman exclaimed, who was just the midwife. Her words made everyone in the room focus on the little face of the baby wrapped in the swaddling clothes. Dongfang Shuze also took back his thoughts because of this sentence. He was an orphan in his previous life, with no worries, and in this life, he will have a happy family, and he was born with a prominent status. Blinking his dark big eyes, his eyes swept over the people in front of him who looked like they were looking at a treasure, and Dongfang Shuze was surprised at the costumes of these people, all of which were not what he should have worn in his previous life. My son is awake. My son is awake. A rough and excited voice came out of a tall and powerful man with a joyful face, who was Dongfang Long, who had been pacing outside the house for several hours, and also the father of Dongfang Shuze in this life. Dongfang Long really wanted to come forward and hold this little ancestor who had been looking forward to the stars and the moon and finally got him. But he was afraid that the cold he had been exposed to for a long time outside the house would make his son cold, and he didn't even dare to approach the bedside, just stood pitifully not far away, where there was a bit of a general's majesty. By listening to the conversation of these people, Dongfang Shuze has already understood the identity of these people. This tall and powerful man with an excited expression is his father, and the little girl who is about 5 years old and is staring at him with a curious look is his 4th sister, in addition to his 3rd sister and 2nd sister are also present, looking at him with joy. Dongfang Shuze then looked at the beautiful woman lying on the bed with a haggard expression and pale lips, and this is his mother, Xi Chuping, in this life. If his strength was still there, he could cast a yin-yang recovery technique, and his mother wouldn't be so weak. For the mother who gave birth to him, Dongfang Shuze has a grateful heart, and it also makes him realize the inconvenience of not having cultivation. In his previous life, Dongfang Shuze became the head of the Yin-Yang 5 Elements family before he was 18 years old, and his cultivation had reached a level that many Yin-Yang masters might not be able to reach in their lifetime. In this life, he has the memories and experiences of his previous life, and he is confident that he can cultivate to his peak again in less than 10 years. In fact, it will be even faster, because Dongfang Shuze has not yet noticed that the spiritual energy of this world is so abundant that it is overflowing. However, he will soon notice. Chapter 1003, Yin-Yang Vine. Looking at his beloved son with skin as delicate as condensed fat, Dongfang Long's national character face almost froze from smiling. This surge of excitement from the bottom of his heart was no less than a beautiful victory on the battlefield. But to speak again, he was happy. But Dongfang Long had one thing that was not clear. From the anxious waiting outside the room to the current mother and son being safe. Why didn't he hear the crying that a child should have? This is really too abnormal. Dongfang Long looked at his beloved son in the swaddling clothes for a while, although Dongfang Long did not see anything abnormal, but even thought that the beloved son's eyes were very clever, as if there was a kind of wisdom hidden in the watery big eyes. But the doubt in his heart is lingering. He doesn't want his son to be mute or mentally ill as soon as he is born. In order to dispel the doubts in his heart, he invited his military advisor Lin Yazi. Lin Yazi is not only a good strategist, but also proficient in medical skills, and is Dongfang Long's confidant. Speaking of Yin-Yang Xiuzhe, it may be because the baby is weak, and he actually felt a bit sleepy, and he was about to take a nap, but he didn't expect that this uncle, that is, Lin Yazi, who came in later, did not care about his feelings, pulled him out of the swaddling clothes, and then pinched and looked at it, pried open the mouth for a while, and then turned over the eyelids. That attentive look is like carefully selecting a product. Yin-Yang Xiuzhe was very unhappy in his heart. He wanted to resist, but how could his strength be negligible in front of an adult? In order to maintain his own sovereignty, Yin-Yang Xiuzhe wailed loudly. He originally wanted the other party to put himself down, but he didn't expect that when he came to the mouth, it turned into a sound similar to a baby's cry. This can't blame Yin-Yang Xiuzhe. He hasn't fully adapted to this small body yet, and his limbs haven't been fully controlled yet, let alone a clever tongue. Lin Yazi gently placed Yin-Yang Xiuzhe back in the swaddling clothes, and before he could speak, Dongfang Long couldn't wait. Military advisor, how is my son? Dongfang Long is a bit nervous at this time because he saw that Lin Yazi's expression is not very good. The young master's body is very healthy, and there is no problem with his mind. Lin Yazi's voice is slow, and his eyebrows are wrinkled, and he wants to speak again. Dongfang Long was about to take a long breath, but he didn't expect to hear this, and the stone in his heart didn't have time to fall before it was lifted again, and he hurriedly asked, "But what?" Not only Dongfang Long, but all the other people in the room were also nervous. Only the young master's meridians are very strange. I have never heard of it in my life, and I am afraid that he will not be able to cultivate qi in the future. After saying this, Lin Yazi looked up at Dongfang Long. His expression was very regrettable. It's not a big deal for ordinary people not to cultivate qi. They can learn magic at most. But for the Dongfang family, which has been passed down through generations, it is a big event. The family's Lian qi and its supporting unique skills are also a little famous in the Battle Continent. And now Dongfang Long's only beloved son can't cultivate qi, and the family's rules are only passed on to men and not to women. Isn't it that Dongfang Long's unique skills will have no way to pass on? Is there any way to make up for it? Dongfang Long asked with a pleading expression. He is the only son, and given his wife's condition, he may not be pregnant again, and he can pay any price for this son. I sighed. Lin Yazi said, "The young master's meridians are so peculiar, one yin and one yang, hiding two completely opposite energies. Any qi is likely to break this balance of mutual restraint." After a long talk, the main point is, Dongfang Xiuzhe's meridians are not suitable for cultivating qi, and any attempt to treat may bring life-threatening risks to Dongfang Xiuzhe. It is a great pity that the beloved son cannot accept the inheritance. But as long as the beloved son can be healthy and free from disaster, even if he is just an ordinary person in the future, Dongfang Long will be satisfied. Dongfang Xiuzhe heard every word of the conversation between Lin Yazi and his father, and he couldn't help but mutter in his heart. What is qi? What a strange name. Is it also a cultivation method? Is my meridian yin and yang? It sounds so familiar. Could it be the legendary Yin-Yang vein? When the four characters Yin-Yang vein flashed through his mind, Dongfang Xiuzhe was so excited that he almost shouted out loud. Although he had not seen a person with Yin-Yang vein in his previous life, Dongfang Xiuzhe was not unfamiliar with it, and I believe that any Yin-Yang master should have heard its name, because people with Yin-Yang vein are most suitable for cultivating Yin-Yang 5 elements art. It is said that people with this constitution can bring the Yin-Yang 5 elements art to the extreme and can integrate themselves into the world, reaching the realm of unity of man and heaven. It's ridiculous that people in this world don't understand the value of this meridian, but it's good. Dongfang Xiuzhe will definitely leave a magical mark in people's hearts when he performs Yin-Yang 5 elements art in the future. When the spirit entered his left and right temples, and turned into two energies with opposite properties, but complementing each other. Dongfang Shu's was so excited that he almost shouted out loud. This time it's wrong. He is indeed Yin-Yang vein, a rare constitution that may not be found in hundreds of years. This time, Dongfang Xiuzhe is even more confident in recultivating Yin-Yang 5 elements art. No matter what chi is, even if he can't cultivate it, what about it? He Dongfang Xiuzhe is a Yin-Yang Master. Yin-Yang 5 elements art is his specialty. Dongfang Xiuzhe firmly believes that his Yin-Yang 5 elements art will not lose to any method. He thought so before, and now he is even more so. After being excited for a while, he gradually calmed down, but Dongfang Xiuzhe immediately found something that made him very excited. Why is the spiritual power here so abundant? So much like the water in the sponge, you can squeeze out a lot. Just now, he just wanted to test whether he was yin-yang vein, but he didn't expect to absorb the spiritual power at once and gather it in the dantian, which would never happen in his previous life. Don't look at it, just absorbing a little bit of spiritual power, but it made Dongfang Xiuzhe 100 times more energetic, and the fatigue before was gone, and his hands and feet had strength. If Dongfang Xiuzhe wanted to, he could get up from the bed now and then swagger, walk 2 steps. Chapter 04. A small display of skill. Time passed quickly, and a week had gone by. In these 7 days, Dongfang Xiuzhe enjoyed the meticulous care from his mother, the attentive care from his elder sisters, the overprotection from his father, and the constant busyness of the maids and servants. It seemed as if the entire general's mansion revolved around him. In the cold winter, the biting wind was outside, but the room where Dongfang Xiuzhe stayed was always warm like spring. With the best charcoal stoves placed in every corner, and someone was responsible for changing the charcoal. In addition, everything Dongfang Xiuzhe used and wore was the most expensive, and even the milk he drank was carefully selected. Since the general's mansion added Dongfang Xiuzhe, this winter no longer seemed so cold, and the mansion was lively every day, with both masters and servants wearing happy smiles on their faces. In the past few days, more and more people have come to congratulate and give gifts. Whenever a big person came, Dongfang Xiuzhe had to be disturbed, and his tender little face was either pinched by this person or pinched by that person. I really don't understand why these adults all like to do this. He was a bit annoyed in his heart as to why these gift givers didn't come on the same day. If you give a gift, just give it. Why do you have to torture me every time? It's not that it's not okay to give gifts, but what Dongfang Xiuzhe couldn't stand was that many people wanted to arrange a child marriage for him. Please, how old am I? My milk teeth haven't grown yet. Can't such an important life event wait a bit? Do you have to rush it? Arranging a child marriage is not bad, but it must be a beautiful one. Oh yeah. It's hard to concentrate on cultivation during the day, so Dongfang Xiuzhe can only use the limited time when everyone is asleep at night. Although this is the case, there have been results from the cultivation in these days. Dongfang Xiuzhe has already laid a solid foundation for the Yin-Yang 5 elements art, and in a few days he can truly start cultivating. Time passed day by day. The people who came to give gifts began to decrease one after another. On this day, Dongfang Xiuzhe finally laid a solid foundation and took the most critical step to become a Yin-Yang Master. A solid foundation, an extraordinary physique, combined with abundant spiritual energy, brought about rapid progress. In just a few days, Dongfang Xiuzhe's Yin-Yang 5 elements art has made some progress. On a quiet night, Dongfang Xiuzhe, in his cradle, sat up gently after making sure there was no one in the room. Bright eyes looked around, and you could see the figures of the guards patrolling back and forth outside the door with the flickering candlelight. Dongfang Xiuzhe knew that they were the guards stationed outside the room, responsible for his safety 24 hours a day. A big family with great power, this is Dongfang Xiuzhe's preliminary understanding of his family. A smile that did not match a baby appeared on the corner of his mouth, and Dongfang Xiuzhe decided to verify the results of his cultivation at this time. A white little hand drew a beautiful arc and stopped in front of his chest to form a strange handprint, muttering words. Juk, Juk, the spirit of all birds, majestic avenue, traveling through the sky. With the murmuring whispers, the young body seemed to be wrapped in an invisible force, and it floated up incredibly, and then fell to the ground like a light feather without making a sound. The night is very quiet. and the candle flame is still flickering like a ghost. The feeling of touching the cold ground with the soles of his feet made Dongfang Shuze enjoy it very much. He looked back at the shadow of the guard printed on the window paper at the door, and a shallow arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. He walked around the room without making a sound, moving his hands and feet, getting used to this young body. This is the first time since Dongfang Shuze was reborn that he tried to walk on his legs, and it felt a bit strange. If someone came in at this moment, they would be scared to see a baby who hadn't been full for a month walking around so easily. In fact, if it weren't for fear of disturbing the guards outside, Dongfang Shuze could even jump or trot. After walking around the room for a few circles, Dongfang Shuze finally stopped in front of a tiger-skin sofa. The tip of his foot touched the ground, and his body was like a catkin floating in the air again, and he had already fallen on the sofa. If his father saw this scene, he would exclaim, "What kind of fighting skill is my son using?" Although the sofa is not as soft as the cradle, it will not easily make a creak sound. And Dongfang Shuze doesn't have to worry about disturbing people outside when he sits on it. Eyes looked around restlessly again, and the line of sight finally fell on a burning candle. The corners of his mouth smiled, and it seemed that he had an idea. He slowly stretched out a finger without reciting any spells, and the inch-long flame actually went out with a whoosh. He retracted his finger, and the flame actually lit up again with a whoosh. This is an illusion, a small spell in the Yin-Yang 5 elements art. Although it has no attack power, it can play a big role sometimes. Subsequently, Dongfang Shuze tried a lot of new tricks, like manipulating objects to fly around the room, making the curtains in the room twist and dance, summoning those fallen petals to become low-level shikigami. Everything looks so magical. Who would have thought that these were all done by a baby who had just been born for a few days? After trying for a while, although he didn't feel tired, Dongfang Shuze knew it was time to go back to the cradle, because usually at this time there would be a maid coming. The general's mansion is a place that values rules, and maids and servants have a regular work schedule. Even the shift change is very regular. With a flick of his finger, those petals that became low-level shikigami began to clean the dust on Dongfang Shuze's feet, and then return the furnishings in the room to their original state. It didn't take much time to do all this. Shikigami is good for this. Any dirty work can be done, no wages are required, and they can work hard without complaining. A low-level shikigami like this has no combat power, but it can do a good job in cleaning up such small things. No one noticed Dongfang Shuze's unusual actions. No one noticed his difference, and no one would believe that a baby could do anything. Living a life of eating, sleeping, and cultivating every day, Dongfang Shuze should not worry about anything. However, today he has a trouble. It's not that his cultivation has reached a bottleneck, but his parents are going to give him a name. Dongfang Shuze is used to his own name, and if he changes it, he will feel very uncomfortable. How to continue to use the name Xiuzhe has become a reason for his entanglement. Tell directly through language? It's not very realistic. Dongfang Shuze's pronunciation is not very clear now, and it's hard to ensure whether his parents can understand his meaning, and it would be troublesome if it backfired. Write the name down? This idea is good, but the problem is that he doesn't have any ink, paper, or inkstone at hand. Even if he gets the paper and pen through shikigami, it's hard to ensure that his parents will agree to use this name. Really a headache. Looking at the roof, Dongfang Shuze pondered a solution. He had to come up with an idea quickly, otherwise once his parents reached a consensus, it would be difficult to change it. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration in his mind, a sly expression appeared on Dongfang Shuze's childish face. Got it, let's do it this way. Today, Dongfang Shuze will play a big joke on everyone in the general's mansion. Chapter Nilla 5. The King of Thieves. Ren Tianxing held his breath and lay motionlessly on top of a high pavilion, his eyes like those of an owl staring unblinkingly at the room 20 zhang away from him. That room was his target. More precisely, the baby inside the room, the newborn son of General Dong Fenglong. From his vantage point, he could clearly overlook the surroundings of the room. Indeed, the security is tight. With guards every 5 steps and sentries every 10, it was not only difficult to steal the baby, but even approaching was a challenge. Moreover, Ren Tianxing was well aware that this was just the visible defense. The general's mansion was filled with hidden dragons and crouching tigers, talents beyond count. If his whereabouts were discovered, escaping would be troublesome. Although this mission was difficult and even dangerous, For Ren Tianxing, who bore the title of the King of Thieves, it was a test of all he had learned. The title, the King of Thieves, was inherited from his master, who had since retired to the mountains and forests. However, the legendary exploits of the King of Thieves had never ceased. It's just that the outside world was unaware that the King of Thieves had changed. I came out against my master's wishes. I cannot afford to fail, or I will lose face. Ren Tianxing's expression became increasingly stern. The dim night became his ally in hiding, and with the bright lights below, no one would pay attention to his hiding place. As the night grew darker, the general's mansion also became quiet. Ren Tianxing remained still, waiting for an opportunity. The shifts and routines in the general's mansion were very regular. All Ren Tianxing had to do now was wait quietly for the only chance to break through the tight defense before dawn. This was a test of patience. Ren Tianxing looked up at the sky. It was gradually turning light, and the time for action was getting closer. At this moment, he saw a maid enter the room. Ren Tianxing was ready to spring into action because the moment the maid came out of the room was his chance to act. There was no room for any mistakes. Missing this opportunity would mean waiting another day. Ren Tianxing's eyes widened, his focus reaching an unprecedented level of concentration. The maid, Xiao Kui, as usual, brought fresh diapers to change for the newborn young master. However, as soon as she pushed the door open and stepped into the room, a dark figure suddenly flashed before her eyes. With a crash, the roof tiles shattered, and the dark figure fled, seemingly carrying a swaddled infant in its arms. Xiao Kui, in shock, saw that the young master in the cradle was gone and let out an earth-shattering scream. At the same time, the guards waiting outside rushed in. Upon seeing the scene, they were all shocked pale. The young master was lost, right under their noses. What a grave offense. The general's mansion's only young master, not even a month old, was lost under their watch. How could they face the general? Cold sweat streamed down their faces in an instant. Everyone knew this was a big deal that would shock the entire general's mansion. Ren Tianxing crouched, ready to display his peerless technique. His heart was calm. His breathing and heartbeat seemed to have stopped at this moment. The opportunity is coming. This is the critical moment. Cannot be careless at all. However, no matter how well one plans, the heavens can have other ideas. Just as Ren Tianxing was about to make his move, an unexpected change occurred. A woman's scream suddenly came from that room, piercing through the silence of the dawn. What's going on? What happened? Ren Tianxing's mind was momentarily stunned. Then he saw a large number of guards rush into the room, followed by chaos. Dumbfounded, Ren Tianxing was completely at a loss. He never expected that after waiting all night, it would end up like this. This sudden change completely disrupted his plan. What's going on? What's causing such a commotion? Could it be that Dongfang Long's son suddenly died? While lost in these thoughts, Ren Tianxing lay down again. The commotion spread like a terrible virus, instantly infecting the entire general's mansion. Listening to the chaotic shouting, Ren Tianxing finally understood what had happened. Dongfang Long's son had been abducted. He couldn't believe that someone was faster than him. Wait, that's not right. Ren Tianxing suddenly realized, I was watching that room without blinking. I didn't even see a shadow or a hair flying out. How could there be a kidnapping? Strange. Very strange. Could there be someone more formidable than me, the King of Thieves, who could stealthily take away the young master under my watch? Don't be ridiculous. How could there be such a thing? His strong personality made it hard for Ren Tianxing to accept this, and he decided to take advantage of the chaos to personally check the scene. In the room, Dongfeng Long was racking his brain, trying to think of a name for his son, even calling his strategist Lin Yazi to help. Just then, a commotion erupted outside. What's happened? Dongfeng Long frowned. I'll go check. Lin Yazi got up to leave, but at that moment, a guard with a pale face ran in. Report. The guard's voice trembled noticeably, his fearful eyes unable to hide. What's the matter outside? Why is it so noisy? Dongfeng Long asked with a gloomy face. General. The guard fell to his knees. General, I am guilty. General, I cannot atone for my sins, even if I die 1,000 deaths. What crime have you committed? Dongfeng Long asked, a sense of foreboding in his heart. General, we are incompetent, young master, he. The guard choked up as he spoke. What happened to my son? Dongfeng Long stood up abruptly, his eyes radiating a piercing light. Young master has been abducted. Upon hearing this, Dongfeng Long felt the world spin, and it was as if something had fiercely stabbed his chest. Now, the entire general's mansion was in an uproar. Under Dongfeng Long's personal command, fully armed warriors formed teams of 10 to conduct a thorough search of the mansion. For a moment, panic ensued, and even servants and maids joined the search for the young master. At the same time, all the city gates of Tianbo City received orders to close and were heavily guarded. The streets were filled with a large number of soldiers patrolling back and forth. Any suspicious person was to be detained on the spot. For a newborn baby, the entire Tianbo City seemed to be turned upside down. Some might ask, was Dongfeng Xiuzhe really abducted? Who has such great ability to single-handedly break into the heavily guarded general's mansion and abduct the beloved young master? If there really is such a person, either he is extremely powerful or everyone in the general's mansion is incompetent. But, in fact, Dongfeng Xiuzhe didn't go anywhere. He was still in his room, using an illusion to make people think he was abducted. Listening to the commotion outside and feeling the atmosphere as if facing a great enemy, Dongfeng Xiuzhe felt a bit regretful. He thought the joke might have been too much. He didn't expect that for his sake. So many people would be mobilized, and it seemed like the roof of the entire general's mansion would be overturned. He just wanted to create a little disturbance to distract his parents from naming him, and when it got dark, he would cast a small dream spell. But now it had escalated to this situation. Ah, what a headache. With a sigh, Dongfeng Xiuzhe prepared to end this farce. He extended his small hand and snapped his fingers, and the illusion was lifted. If any maid or guard came in, they would be able to see him. Just as he was about to use a shikigami to let people outside know of his existence, at this moment, Dongfeng Xiuzhe suddenly sensed a faint breath approaching at an unimaginable speed. If it weren't for his extraordinary perception as a Yin-Yang Master of the surrounding energy fluctuations, he would never have noticed this person's presence. Who is this person? A master from the mansion. Why is he hiding his breath? Who is he? What kind of technique is he using, and what is his purpose for coming here?